GLAM, Los Angeles.
Hi, Kirby. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Los Angeles.
Joyce, welcome to Los Angeles.
Thank you for having me.
We were just
Such a
talking
surreal moment
about your addiction to dry bar.
Chokehold. I can't leave.
Listen, they have a good business model.
They do, but someone, there has to be something better.
I don't know. Oh, let's brainstorm.
Yeah, let's brainstorm, please. But yeah, they're great.
We have you here because we partnered with Rare on this amazing new launch. This is a brand new category for the brand. And if you are a Glamgelino who is a part of our seeding, it was so funny when we announced that it was Rare that we were partnering with.
Bananas.
The most submissions ever for our signups.
Oh, that's so great.
We had people like trying to cheat the system. I'm a stickler for the system, okay?
Kirby's
like
a real
I am
follower.
going through.
All
So
right.
I am like, so if you got picked for this, truly, like you were a chosen one. Because do you live in the US? That was like one of the stipulations. You had to live in the US. I'm going through and like people from India are checking the Indiana box.
Oh my gosh.
Updating different fields
You're like,
and I'm like,
girl, we can't send it to you.
I'm like, that doesn't look like a U.S. town.
That doesn't look
I'm
right.
gonna Google this right now, and then I'm like, oh, India. I'm like, okay, so people are they really wanted whatever this was because we didn't tell them. We just said we're partnering with Rare, and they just said sight unseen, don't care what it is, just give it to me.
And then once they were added to the channel and found out they made it, they were like, thank you so much for adding us. Like,
I was threatening lives, basically, because I was like, you have to understand how confidential this is. You cannot share this with a singular soul. We will take legal action. You do not understand.
I love that you have this perspective on it. You're doing our work for us.
I am militant about this.
I love it.
And then all of them were like responding like, mom's the word, like little emojis with their
little zippers.
Lip.
But that's also the fun part about it. Is that, it's like this
exclusive.
secret community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And I mean, it's been every morning I wake up and I'm like, did it get leaked? Like, even with Selena, because she loves it and she's been asking me, and I'm like trying to send it to her in like unmarked like bottles and stuff. And she's so funny because she's so protective of it. And there was once, I think it was like for Fine Comfort when we launched, she just like posted this innocuous picture and like the fans get really into it.
Oh,
and
they are
like
zooming
in and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, all right, we just have to be like super careful.
And when you came in here, you were like, I'm already in 2027 in my head.
Yeah.
So you're just living a life of secrecy.
So much secrecy. And every morning is a panic of like, did something get out? Did I carry something?
Yeah.
And like, I just was, she was telling me this funny story because we just launched this last spring, Fine Comfort, in a new fragrance, Awaken Confidence.
Yes.
And it has this beautiful body cream that like has water breakage texture. And it's like really moisturizing, but like lightweight on the skin. And she's been carrying this around for like the last year and a half. And she was at the airport and going through TSA and forgot that and it's like a 250 gram, like huge thing. And they were like, you can't have this. And she was like, oh my gosh. And they took it to like throw it away. But because she has me on her shoulder being like, don't release any images or whatever, that she basically took her hand, scooped out the bulk, threw it out and was like, give me the jar back. Because she was so afraid someone would see it in the trash or like something like that.
Did they say it was okay?
They said it was okay. She was like, and then
they're like,
I
think this is Selena Gomez. I think it's okay.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I love the commitment. She told me, and I was like, yes, I love that. So I think I've just scared her to death. Yeah.
So Joyce, you're the Chief Product Officer at Rare Beauty. You've been with the brand since its inception.
Yes.
Which is incredible. So for people that may not be familiar with the Chief Product Officer, what does your day-to-day look like? What are your job responsibilities? And then what are some of the things that you've helped bring to life for the brand?
Wow. Okay. So I would
Loaded question.
Loaded question. Lots of things. First of all, I'm so blessed to have the role that I have and the team that I have. We're so interconnected and we have so much trust with each other. But all of it is really like we want to bring Selena's vision to life in the most like time efficient way. And the most efficiency is my love language. So to me, I'm like, you dream up what you want, and it's me to make it. Like my job to make it a reality, like whether it's from a production timeline, whether it's from efficacious, like if the formula is right, if it works, it's stable, all of these things. The responsibility is really about like concepts. So partnering with Selena about what that concept of that product is, all the way till it basically hits shelf. So I'm not solely responsible, obviously, for all of that. Collaborate with so many integral departments to get there. But product is really like the hub of the wheel, right? Because it dictates the storytelling, the timing of when you're launching something is important, the season, that kind of thing, how it looks on shelf, if there's room on shelf at the gondola, like all of these things kind of take into play. And that includes like packaging and then formulation and all of that. So I always describe it as like concept to shelf. Yeah.
Wow.
And you were a part of bringing the best-selling liquid blush to market.
Wild.
Which is
Wild.
so crazy. I think it was 2023, $70 million worth of that blush.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely
we have
nuts.
accounts for 26.16% of Sephora's total blush sales.
Wild.
That is
mean,
insane.
we never saw ourselves as like day one was not like, hey, let's be a blush brand. I'm here for it. I love it. And I love that blush has become this like phenomenon, right? It's crazy. I find myself just layering more and more blush. Even like on the car right here, I was like, do I have enough blush on?
Oh, totally.
My face actually eats blush. Like I just have to like, it's crazy. It's like whatever pigment, I layer every finish, every texture, all of that. But yeah, we never imagined ourselves to be in this place, but I love it. I think, you know, with the name itself, and it just brought so much joy, I think, from like just your disposition at a time when we were all like trapped in our homes and like not wearing a lot of makeup. And it really came from Selena. Like she was filming Selena and Chef at home, couldn't have a makeup artist, couldn't have a hair person. So we were like, just turn on your phone and just at least we can get some content of you doing makeup application. And we would just get hours of these videos and just kind of watch them and see, you know, like what's her makeup routine like? Because she's always approached beauty as like consumer focused. Obviously, she works with amazing makeup artist Hung Van Gogh, who's taught her a lot of techniques, but her purpose and perspective is really about like how does the normal everyday person wear makeup and what does that ritual look like? Not just testing products, but learning about products, sharing products, applying products. So it's really about like ease of use. And we would watch her put this really vibrant blush on and blend it out, and her face just like lit up, and she was just like camera ready for a show. And we were watching, we're like, wow, like that blush is really like changing how like her disposition, you know, bringing joy to her face. And we never thought it would be where it's at today, but now it's its own, you know.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a liquid blush, I think, is really what stands out about it, because it's not like you guys launched with a powder blush and then the liquid. Like this was the blush.
Yeah.
This was the only blush.
And at a time before people were obsessed with blush. I feel like in the past 2 or 3 years, we've gotten
blush is
blush
back.
blindness, blushes everywhere. Everybody's launched a blush. But it's incredible that you started with a liquid blush and then it blew up to this level. Like, did you have any qualms? Like, how did that even come to life?
Or is that because Selena, when you're watching these videos of her, preferred like a creamy liquid blush?
Well, from day one when I met her, like, for me, I was like, okay, I want to bring your vision to life and bring my expertise from the back end side of how to like do this. But I needed to have an understanding of her perspective on like product. And like, obviously everything is authentic to her. So when I listened to her talk about her makeup routine and what she looks for, she's super into texture, like feeling things. So like, you know, I just discovered this about my son. Anything I give him something to eat, he just smells it. Like the first thing he does is like, I want to smell it. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Because I'm such like a visual person. She's a sensorial person. Like before she puts it on, she wants to feel what it's like. And at the time she was like, I am like on the go. So if I'm doing my own makeup, it's really like, put it on. I use my hands a lot. And so we had made the entire line basically liquid when we launched. So the blush was a liquid blush. And she also loved the ease of like the applicator of just like dotting and going. And so that's where we netted out with a liquid format. Now, we actually reduced the pigment load on these by like 20%.
Really?
Yes, before we went, because I mean, it was like, even for me, I'm like, it's blendable, but it's like super intense.
A little goes a long way.
A little goes, I mean, it literally,
Yeah.
there's been some content where someone took like a paper clip and put like the tiniest dot.
And it was like the perfect.
But we also have seen content where people have like gone through an entire bottle. I just went through one of Hope, my favorite color. But yeah, I mean, we were kind of apprehensive because it was so pigmented. And mind you, like this is the world of like COVID where like no one's really like
wearing masks.
makeup. Yeah, everyone's wearing masks and everything. And so like right before literally like production, we were like, I think we should reduce the pigment load because I think people will be a little overwhelmed by this for sure. And then fast forward, I think the most viral video on TikTok was someone not realizing how pigmented it was, putting it on, and she's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But then blending it out. And so to think it could have been even more pigmented is just a fun little anecdote. Yeah.
I remember it launched, and then I remember several months later, there were several Black influencers that were like, you guys are sleeping on this blush.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Like I didn't really know how it was going to pan out for me, and it actually shows up on my complexion. Did you guys go into it with the intention of making sure it was going to show up on every skin tone?
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I think about brand pillars, like what we wanted Rare to be known for, obviously product is a huge part of it. Mission is a huge part of it with Rare Impact and what she's doing for the mental health space, but inclusion, right? And that's evolved not just from diversity and having products that work for all different skin tones, all different skin types and ages, and then all the way to like our Made Accessible initiative. But yeah, I mean, out the gate, you know, for us, in all honesty, we were in that space of like, Rihanna had did this amazing thing with Fenty, right? Putting women of color first, showcasing the breadth of shades when it comes to foundation first. And we were living in we're launching a mission-based brand with someone who happens to be one of the most biggest celebrities in the world. And how do we come with authenticity on the table with like a perspective of like really knowing what they're talking about? And out the gate, we were like, this is my job to be like, we need to launch with like a foundation or mascara because those are loyalty driven products that if someone like, you mean business if you come with that. If you're launching with, not to say like a blush or a lip is not as important or equally like moving, you know, but at the end of the day, like when a girl finds her go-to foundation or mascara, it's over, you know, like you're like committed. And so those were the categories we were like, we're going to go deep. And so from there, it was really about breadth of shades. And so if we're going to have 48 shades of foundation and really have a really breadth of like diverse undertones and everything, then we have to have the blushes that go with those. So
100%.
From day one, that was definitely part of it. Yeah.
So it sounds like Selena is very involved.
I just left her in the office, actually.
She's like, where are you going?
Yeah, we're like double booked with all of these things that we're working on. But yeah, she's great.
That's
She's really
amazing.
involved, yeah.
What's something that fans of hers or fans of the brand might not know about her when it comes to Rare and the products that you guys develop?
I think that people think she's far removed, not because like in the weeds of like the details, but like I bet people would think that she's far removed of knowing what like for quote unquote regular people are looking for, but she's so in tune with just what her friends are using, her peers. Like she's very, she'll go into a Sephora. Like the mask situation was great for her because she literally like floats around. And people don't realize it's her. And she just watches and observes. And she will text me and be like, hey, I'm here and I'm seeing a ton of people shop this. Like, what have you heard about it? I'm going to buy one and test it. So she's testing like competitors, products out there, and like very much like giving her feedback about like what I love about this. Have we thought about doing something like this? And she's much more like aware of consumer behavior, I think, than most people probably wouldn't think because she's just so busy and doing all these other things, right? So yeah.
Interesting. Is she like watching what consumers are saying on like social media about the product? Is she watching reviews?
About ours?
Yeah, about
I
Rare.
would assume that she's kind of like me where we wait for people to send us the good stuff. You know what I mean? Like we just launched our lip gloss, our Positive Light lip gloss, and I'm the type of person, and I may have taught this to her because it's so like stressful. Like you want people to love what you've been working on, but it's scary. It's like putting your heart on your sleeve and being like, all right, community, say what you want about it, you know? And like I wait for my extended team to be like, things have been really positive in the reviews. And I think she waits for me to kind of pepper
deliver
her.
that.
But I think it's unavoidable, right?
Totally.
Like our algorithms are crazy. And like she's certainly on TikTok and like watching things and creating content for us too. So I'm sure she's seeing things. And then we had an event last night that she was at and the sentiment was really positive. So for her, I think she loves like the energy of being around people when they're discovering rare beauty for the first time. That's why she kind of like hides and watches people at the gondola and stuff like that.
Oh my God. Next time you're at Sephora.
I know. If you see someone in a mask and maybe Selena, you know, breathing down your shoulder, being like, what are you doing? Do you like it? You know, it's also super personal. So yeah.
Has there ever been a product that you've gotten feedback on that you were surprised by, that you didn't expect people to either really love or felt that it missed the mark? And were you able to go back and quote unquote fix it?
You know, we launched with this, and I die on this hill. Our Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm is like my everyday. It's no shimmer, just a touch of color. The texture is so amazing. It's super moisturizing. It has one of the highest ratings for a rare on Sephora.com. And there's like a small following of people that like love it. And we did like an exclusive shade in a set that people also loved as well. It just never got like the traction. And it makes me sad because it's so great. It's like my everyday balm. And I mean, it's hard to like go back and fix something that we love already as is. And when I'm in the office, every girl has one. Like obviously at Rare, like you're gonna, you know, carry around, but people also buy competitively. So I don't expect them only to have Rare stuff, but it's really in their bag as their go-to everyday lip balm. And it just never got like, maybe it'll get love now, but it never just like picked up, you know. We got trapped in this blush world and we're like, you know, just in that. So
Totally. I like that product a lot.
Me
actually.
too. I think that's a beautiful product.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about the Blot and Glow touch-up kit.
Oh my gosh,
Oh yeah,
yes.
so good.
Okay, that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yes.
But yes.
This was
truly
a product that launched at launch.
Yes.
I still have mine.
Shut up.
I will not get rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
I refuse to. And I actually like fill up my puff with loose powder and like we'll put it in there. I was telling Jess White actually, who works at Rare, I was like, can y'all just make it in a smaller, like cut it in half?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
Put
there's
it in
like
your
some,
purse.
so you can actually put it in your purse. Cause I'm like, this would be great for red carpets. Like this is like a very Selena centric product.
And that
to
was
me.
all her. Like she was like, if I can like impose myself and being like, I really need to have this, because strategy wise, I talked to her about timing and what the potential of the business is, those kind of things. But she was like, I need this. Like I need it in my bag for, you know, red carpet stuff. Like, can we make it? And I was like, let's do it. And it was really fun to go through and really taking like her vision from packaging everything and being like, all right, let's do it. And it's also, no one was going out. You know what I mean?
I know. And it's so sad because this is
Yeah.
such a good product. I mean, the amount of powder that the puff held,
Yes.
I just felt like it was
Use
never
it
going to
all.
run out. Yeah. I was like, this
Yeah.
is incredible. And then obviously you have the blotting papers, which are great. So you're not adding more powder.
Yes.
The only thing was just, I think, how big it was.
Yeah, if I look back, I would have probably stacked it so that it's a little bit more compact. In our minds, we were like, it's as big as an iPhone. If you can carry an iPhone, you can carry this. But then now that I think about it, I'm like, who wants to carry around two iPhones?
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of people that do that from like a work perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but
Okay, please go back to the
Okay.
team and say Kirby desperately would like for you to figure this out.
Yeah, and like
bring it
minis
back.
are popular, and that's like
oh my gosh, could you imagine that in like a mini
set?
Yes.
My day would be made. I love all of the little
Oh
mini
my
blushes.
God,
The
they're
mini
so
blushes are
cute.
like the perfect amount, in my opinion.
I
love
also
them.
just like can't use it because it's so cute. But
with
it
the little
is.
baby bags.
With the bag.
When they
With
send
the-
me
put
the
it in the
little baby
bag,
bags,
yeah.
I like put them in
Yeah.
front of my dog and pretend like they're
But
hers.
it is.
So
It's
cute.
perfect for your purse. It's perfect.
The office is like super obsessed with Labubus right now.
Okay. Yep.
We all
Yes.
are, right?
Yes.
And we just have all our Labubus lined up with the mini bags and the mini blushes. And
The mini bags are so smart. One thing I really like that Rare has done, and I'm actually not sure if this falls under you because it's technically merchandise, I guess, but
Yeah.
like
it's on our team. Yeah.
no
the
way.
PD
Okay, so
team, yeah.
so like the bags, the puffy
Yes.
bags,
Yeah.
the puffy makeup bags, the
The
mini
mini
bags,
bag. Yeah.
even the dog toys. My dog's
Yeah.
favorite toys are the Rare mascara.
No way.
And the blush.
I love
she
it.
loves them.
Yeah.
She loves that they crackle and she
Yes.
loves that they squeak.
Yeah.
I
and pull
never
apart.
would have thought this would be in my wheelhouse when we were
Dog
doing
toys?
dog toys. But I mean, when we have moments like that, like the team loves it. Like actually, our merch, you know, not to pat ourselves on the back, but it's just like gotten huge for us. Like people really identify that silhouette, that material, our colors with the brand. And we love that people come to obviously our website to get more of an immersed feeling of like the brand ethos and everything. And the bags are just like another opportunity to show brand love, right? And we try to keep them not so logo driven, something that can be used all the time. A lot of like men in the office were like, all right, we got a black one. The peach does by far way more than the black. Yeah.
But I think that kind of also speaks to, you know, the merchandise, the sweatsuits, the products. It all kind of we love when a brand really comes together and like makes a lot of sense. And obviously she has an amazing team around her. She would not have anything less. But soft is a word that I think of when I think of Rare. Is that like a keyword for you guys when you're making things?
Cozy, soft, weightless, airy. Like as we look at formulas, we're in that world. As we think about visuals, you know, it's a weightlessness, a levity. It's not so serious, you know, it's about being approachable. And those are definitely like keywords as we tackle anything, you know, so.
I also feel like I feel safe with all the products, right? It's like you feel seen. So that's like a part of the safety, right? It's like inclusive, but just it like brings you joy and comfort. Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, it's music to my ears without us having to like explicitly explain what our brand values are or like the culture at the company. But day one, it was, you know, when we were working with Selena on like visual campaigning of like, what do we want people to feel when they're immersed into Rare Beauty? And her comment was, at the time, she was living with her friends, her roommates, not in show business. Do people say show business anymore? Not celebrity. I don't know. Not celebrities or entertainment, whatever. And that's how she was discovering makeup, which was like enlightening to me, right? Like as like meeting her for the first time, she brought her best friend with her to the meeting and was like, okay, my friend has troubled skin. She's looking for like a more fuller coverage. I like am lucky and don't need that, but I want to make sure her needs are met, you know, and that's just her as a person is always like, how do others feel about this? And which is an amazing partnership to have with somebody when they're not just like in their tunnel vision of things. But when we were thinking about brand cues and visuals, she's like, I want people like, she's like, I think about putting on makeup in like my bathroom with all my girlfriends getting ready together. And I think we all can think of a moment like that when you're like excited to go out and you're like, oh, you need a mascara. Like, God forbid we share these things now, but like, oh, you need a mascara or you need a lip, and like being like, oh, I just found this and I love it. You should try it. You know, that type of sharing of information and feeling not judged about things. Like that was the ethos of like how we wanted to create that feeling in like every capacity with the brand. So
since we have you, we're like, okay, we have to ask her a few questions just about the industry that Sarah and I don't know. We have never created a brand before. Why do we see so many brands launching the same type of product at the same time? Is there a calendar or something that is telling different brands like, okay, you launch a powder this time of year, you launch this time, or even just from like a trending standpoint?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. So another thing to bring back is like, I worked at a different brand before, NYX Professional Makeup, which was like 8 years of my life, which I loved. The NYX girl was a very specific type of person. And then to switch to this girl is like such like a mind, you know, whatever. But like the product assortment from day one, Selena was like, I don't want to be a trend chaser. She's like, I don't want to live in the world. And we all lived in this. I think it was like 2016 of unicorn everything, you know, and it was gorgeous then, but like everyone was launching prismatics or whatever, and I certainly was. I think I made unicorn everything, but it was, you know, short, right? And then it's like the next thing, and like we didn't want to live in this space where we're like constantly chasing what's happening in the moment. Like we wanted to, her phrase was, I want to be like the go-to brand. I want to be the go-to mascara, the go-to, you know, lip gloss, the go-to all these things. And like, I just want to have like really good product that resonates with people where it's something that's like their hero product. And we can have fun and dabble in those areas. Like, a shimmery lip gloss, which really probably it wasn't on our radar when we first launched, obviously, but like doing it in a way that makes sense for us. So not so prismatic, just a nice subtle glow, more about the texture and the hydrating aspects of it. But yeah, I mean, trying to forecast what's going to happen for us, we just lean on the fact that like we have a white space within our portfolio. We're so consumer centric of like what are people needing, or can we improve on an experience, especially with like packaging and things like that, of like how do we approach it in the rare way versus like chasing trends, I guess. I think the blush movement that's happened, I would love to attribute it all to like, oh, Rare had this great blush, but everyone was kind of needing some levity and some brightness, and here we are, and we're always trying to like re-innovate in that category. I mean, that's what beauty is, right? There are just some products that are like, my mom used that when I was younger, I remember, and I'll still gravitate and use it. But yeah, it's hard to like project that. And I think that everyone's kind of looking, especially with social media, and seeing what's on social media at the same time, which is kind of dictating like trends, right? I came from, before I got into beauty, in the apparel and footwear industry for a skateboarding brand. Super random, I know. But we used to do like these brand inspiration trips where we would travel to different markets because we didn't have social media where it was so instant, right? Live or anything like that. So us going to France to see what people were wearing, or Japan, was part of the development process, because for, you know, in apparel and footwear, they were far ahead in terms of like trends and different fabrics and different cuts. Like we just don't have that anymore. It's like a global like movement in fashion as well, but also specifically in makeup. Outside of like Korea, Japan, and China, who do their own thing, everyone else is like on the same wavelength. So
Totally.
Yeah.
So then on that note, how does Rare then decide what category they're going to go into next if it's not based on, you know, unicorn, whatever's trending at the moment? Like, for example, fragrance. Like, how do you decide, okay, you and Selena, like, how do you decide that's where you want to go next?
I think timing is everything for us. We launched Find Comfort, which was such a natural progression for us because the whole messaging around Rare is just makeup made to feel good in. And when we announced the launch, which was, I'm trying to remember, like 5 months prior to actually launching in store, her fans were like, give us fragrance. Like, we want fragrance. Like, could it be hair? All of these different things, but overwhelmingly like fragrance. So like even before we launched, it kind of was like in the back of our mind, but we were like, okay, but fragrance at that time was very like, I mean, Selena, even in her younger days, did like her fragrance, which somebody on our team actually bought one on eBay. And it's like, I don't know why people are using it because I'd be terrified too, but like it was like this purple genie bottle with like wires and like lips on it. It's hilarious.
I bet you Jovi has it.
Yeah.
Jovi. Our social media manager is like Selena obsessed.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Like, I bet she has it.
Well, someone ordered it, brought it into the office. I took a picture of it and I sent it to Selena and I was like, look at what we got off eBay. She's like, oh my God. Like, she's like, the choice is made for that. She's like, I remember thinking this was so cool, you know? So like in our minds,
what did it smell like?
I couldn't even tell you if it was meant to smell like that because
right,
it's so old,
right,
you know, and
right.
none of us wanted to like actually wear it because we don't know. But yeah, like so fragrance was always in the back of our minds and more of like a timing thing. Like, when does it make sense for us? We know her community, you know, her fans want it. And so Find Comfort was this great like opportunity for us to like go into another category, but it was so organic and made sense. It's like body care that makes you feel good, right? So smell good, feel good, all of that connection, emotional connection. And while we were developing the fragrance for our first Find Comfort collection, we were like, okay, let's just kind of dabble and see like development wise, like if we were to do a fragrance, like because it's such a long lead time and it's so personal, we were like, let's start and see what that looks like. How do we want to approach the category together? And we were thinking, wow, there's a lot of already like celebrity fragrance brands, just like celebrity makeup brands. And so we said, you know, hands down, we need to approach this in a more disruptive way. So we looked at it from a packaging lens, which we're like super proud of, from a gesture lens with these layering balms that we're also launching at the same time, just taking into consideration how personal fragrance is to people. And we're in an age where people want customization. They don't, you know what I mean? Like they want to be able to inherently create something on their own that's indicative or representative of how they're feeling that day. So
yeah, they want a wardrobe, not necessarily a signature scent anymore. It's very different. It's evolved. And by the way, we didn't even announce this. They launched a fragrance. The fragrance is being launched. So
can you walk us through walk us
this is Rare Eau de Parfum.
So fancy.
And twist cap, genius.
So that's the packaging aspect. I love that there's the little lock to tell you when it's open and closed. I remember when Rare first launched, we had Selena on the podcast. It was via Zoom. We were like, okay, we're writing this for our website. Like we wanted it to like blow it out, make it a big deal. And we're like, we keep seeing videos on TikTok saying, oh yeah, and because she has lupus, that these end caps on the blush and things like that are actually meant to help with people's dexterity challenges. I remember I asked Jess and she was like, that's not necessarily exactly like how it came to be.
Yes.
But we love that people are able, like they gave us like a full quote, like we're glad that people see it this way. That wasn't necessarily the intention from the jump. But now I feel like the brand has really jumped on that.
Yeah, I mean, we were delighted. We were like, wow, a community that doesn't feel seen is finding joy in our products. Amazing, you know? And we started seeing this viral content of people relating the ease of use for some of the packaging with Selena and her own dexterity challenges. And for us, we were like, how do we it wasn't intentional by like, hey, let's design these that are easy to open, but by personal preference. I mean, as you can imagine, we went through many designs and iterations, models being made. She went through all of them and picked what the silhouette is. So a byproduct of perhaps like what her dexterity challenges are, she leaned towards that design. Could potentially, for sure, have been the case. For us, we were like, wow, like the community keeps asking. And for us, from like a branding perspective, anytime you make, in a product claim, whether it's something like waterproof, you have to substantiate that with showing that it actually does these things. So we were very familiar about what is the process to do that from like a formula perspective. But something like this like just didn't exist in the market. And we kept trying to like research and reach out to like designers that make like ergonomic things, like how do you validate? And there was this amazing brand guide that's already in the market that like the founder worked with her doctor to design things. But again, like how do you take like a larger population of statistics and like really show that it works? And instead we were like, you know what? There's nothing out there. It's been like a couple years since this story and virality has taken place, and now we're being even more intentional with our designs. We should really just create something and partner with the authoritative figures in these worlds and really do our research and hope that people make that process better, right? Like we want to make something, but we're not the end all be all. I just hope that people see the community and the need for that and then just elevate it, right? And so we worked with Dr. Esther Bay. She's a occupational therapist. She connected us with Casa Colina, which is a research rehabilitation center in Southern California. And we worked with them to create like a claims verification like process. So they reached out to their patients and got volunteers of people that use makeup on a regular basis between a certain age with mild to moderate dexterity issues. And then the physical therapist like worked with them to create kind of like evaluation criteria. And it was like a year-long process of just like getting the people, sending them all the things, training the physical therapist on like what is the usage intention. And even from a formula perspective, they were like, oh, this is so like fluid. It's like easier for me to apply versus something that's like much thicker, like heavier, that kind of thing. And so through all of that, we created the Made Accessible initiative. And it's just been like one of the driving forces as we look through through like new product development. And fragrance wasn't like a category where we were like, all these beautiful bottles exist, but most of them have like a very precision actuator, which we found out and learned through the design process of this is that like the muscles in your fingertips are like the weakest. So like when you lose that dexterity, it's really hard to like have normal function capability, right? So like if as one phalange, I guess is not the right technical term at all, but like as you lose that usage, it's harder for you to do things that require precision and like movement. So we were like, let's make an oversized actuator. Like at the end of the day, we're not even dealing with just finger mobility issues, but if they don't have functionality in their hands altogether, could they use a different body part? Could they leverage the flat rigidness of a tabletop to like spray? And so that's how we kind of positioned ourselves. And then we worked with a group of hand therapists, specifically hand therapists, led with a doctor that works for the Veterans Affairs Office. She brought our community together, which was so cool because all these hand therapists came and they're like, wait, you should do this and add this. And we were like, okay, but it still has to look cute. At the end of the day, they're like, put some rubber on the bottom. And I'm like, okay, what are the things that we can do?
No.
I'm like cute, but no. But so we like came up with the right proportions. Like the cutout on the back is intentional, so your hand can wrap around it. So it's meant to, you can use your thumb as the base and use multiple fingers on top, or you can just hug it and use your main finger.
Or your palm.
Or your palm. Or if you need to have the table, you can like elbow, forearm, all these things. And I think it was like 96% of the study of people with mild to moderate dexterity issues found that the design made it much easier to use, which is great.
And hey, super cute.
Thank you. Super cute. Yeah.
Was there anything that the hand therapists taught you that you were surprised by? Like you think of, again, these fragrance bottles that are really ornate. What were the absolute no's?
I mean,
besides the smaller,
I mean,
actualizer.
Like how it holds in your hand, the shape.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these are beautiful. Like you display them on your vanity, right? But in reality, it's painful to hold if you don't have that strength in your hand. And most of them are glass, if not all of them. Like it's really challenging. And so it was really eye-opening because I think Dr. Esther Bay also told us like a statistic that was like 80% of the people in this world like have some sort of disability, like physical disability. What the moderation is varies, but like if that's not something that people are addressing, because we have the luxury of it not being like our reality, right? But when we hear just one person go online and say, I feel seen and heard and this is like made for me, like that's why we do this, right? Is like for those moments. So yeah.
Amazing.
So it's in the warm and spicy fragrance family.
Yes. It smells so good.
Is that different from gourmand?
Yeah, so I would say gourmand is more of like a yummy, delicious, decadent fragrance. We have pink pepper and ginger to add that element of spiciness to it, so it's not so sweet, I would say. So it's layered.
I'm not a gourmand girl.
Me neither. Yes.
But I love spice.
Yes.
And I love that this still smells sweet, but there's still sort of that like edgy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like,
So how did you land on that?
Oh my gosh. Like 20 iterations later, it was crazy. Like we've had these two magical moments in the brand in terms of like development and everything where everyone that tested it was on the same page, which is like really hard because we have so many different, wants and needs and skin types and ages and ethnicities and all of these things. The first was our mascara, which is wild to me that it even happened. I was like, if you have lashes, you're testing. And so we would have these huge product sessions where the office admin all the way to, the intern was in there and we were just like, okay, we're applying mascara, and we landed at where we landed because everyone came and like loved it as their go-to everyday mascara. And we positioned the mascara of like, wait, what is your lash type? Which is so like personal as well to like your hair type, your skin type, all of that. And so we like to do these fun claims testing that doesn't exist, but we narrowed down the mascara into 4 different lash types that people have and then did claims testing for all lash types and how the mascara performs. So when we call it a universal volumizing mascara, it's really a perspective of like, because my fine, thin, straight lashes that I have like 5 of are not going to be the same that, someone on the team that has like really beautiful lashes that are blessed, but everyone loved the brush, the formula, et cetera. And it was like a really weird, surreal moment where everyone at the table was like, I would totally wear this blush or this mascara because it just like never happens. The fragrance was another one when we finally netted out at this. And the journey was wild. It started with like, all right, we want like a second skin fragrance because that's like during COVID, everyone was like, wanting to just have a light, everyday wear, just easy, step into it, smell like themselves fragrance. But then at the end of the day, like talking to everybody in the company, it was like, no, I want long wear. I want people to know that it's like me when I step into like a room. I want to have some like people to like be able to smell what that is. And then obviously taking into account like what do people want right now? Like vanillas have been having a minute for a really long time, but it's like, how do you create something that's more layered and complex and ownable than what's like already out there, And now I feel like I am also not a gourmand girl, but adding just that spice to it made me feel like, oh, this is something I could wear like on the daily. And it was like unisex, like men in the office were loving it, women were loving it. And it was one of these, wow, like hands down, we did blind tests and like smells and people checked the boxes and we were like, this is crazy. Like everyone loves it, which is great.
So the notes that we have are caramel, pistachio, and pink pepper for the top. The heart is vanilla, ginger, and cocoa beans. And then it says dry, sandalwood, tonka beans, and skin musks. Then we have these balms.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit? There's 4 of them, and you briefly mentioned them earlier.
While we were going through the process of kind of like educating everyone in the office about fragrance, because when originally we would do these smell tests and people were like, I love it or I hate it, and like no other feedback, right? I was like, okay, that doesn't help me. Like, what do you not like? And then I realized, oh, I need them to tell me what is your olfactory preference. Like if I know you're not a gourmand person and I'm giving you all of these to test that are like very sugary, vanilla forward, you're never going to like it, right? So we did this whole round table. I want you to try this one. It's my favorite.
Oh,
I love how nice
this one's my favorite.
No, the vanilla is, the amber vanilla is
lovely.
lovely.
The amber vanilla is great, but I love how the balm absorbs.
It like melts. Yeah,
it's not oily. A lot of these fragrance balms really they leave a sheen. And it's kind of sticky.
Right, exactly.
This is
wait, this is my favorite.
See, that's my world. I live in this world. I like to smell like man.
No, totally. And I it's like clean. You like it to be like which I am
it's
also.
It's almost like a mattifying balm for your face. The way that look at my hand. My hand looks awesome.
There's a lot of similarities
so
for
pretty.
sure.
Oh, I love it.
So we wanted to create this like layering story, right? And these are all based on different olfactory families. So we have amber vanilla, which is like your traditional like gourmandy sweet like family. We have floral peony blossom, which is obviously your floral family. Then you have fresh bergamot, which is like the bright, sparkly, fresh family. And then woody oak, which obviously leans more into woody oak, like what I call
woody oak
man
is
smells.
definitely man.
It is. It's my favorite. And that's what I layer. So like on those days where I'm like, I want to create something a little bit different for myself because I'm feeling like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But like if it's during the day and I'm going out and I want something more bright, then I might blend it with the fresh bergamot. But I mean,
they all smell really amazing.
On its
Even
own,
standing alone.
Yeah. So we're
like, do I need to spray? No.
Yes, Sarah.
Because it also extends the life.
Extends the wear, and then it really, becomes this like customized
Wait, can you
experience.
make it in a bigger bottle though? Like, come on.
These are cool.
Yeah.
Put this all over me.
We love the texture. Again, leading with sensoriality. To your point, most like fragrance bombs have this like oily, sticky. They're like in a stick residue.
Yep.
We wanted something that was equally easy to put on, throw in your bag, and then also from like a price point perspective, it's like great. You can create basically 2 different fragrances with with your fragrance. So.
Are these going to be sold separately?
Yes.
And individually?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then the fragrance itself, it's called Rare. I think we mentioned that.
Yes.
$75. For a fragrance, affordable price point, in my humble opinion. I feel like these are going to go gangbusters with Gen Alpha. The balms.
100%.
Because they're going to like create
mix and
layer.
match, that kind of thing.
How much are the balms?
I think they're 19. Oh, 20.
Okay.
Don't listen to me on anything.
Okay, so the bombs are 20 each, sold separately, individually.
I just think Gen Alpha is going to lose it over these.
Totally.
I think that they're going to want to pick them up.
Cocktailing with
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, like fragrance is so personal.
Yeah.
You can't mess that up.
That's
You're
what
not
it
gonna mess your
is.
skin
But
up.
also it's like people like we all know what the great fragrances are because we're on Fragrance Talk or like we go into the store and stuff, but people still want to have some individuality, right?
Yeah.
Like it's great to be like, this is my hero fragrance, but like I discovered it first, or this is like this is my signature fragrance, that kind of thing. Like I think people want more and more to like have the ability to control that. And like layering's been around for like ages for sure, but for us we were like, we want to have an option to do that that's a little bit more fun, you know, and like affordable, I would say, versus having to get like 2 full-sized fragrance bottles to like layer. So
I also just love how the fragrance itself and the balms, you can smell them. I feel like sometimes with a lot of these newer fragrances launching,
mists,
it's hard to smell them. Like and it's hard to have them stay. They don't have the
the
longevity.
yeah.
But when I've put on Rare and then left the house, I've had people be like, oh, what is that? I'm like, can't tell you. But this is my first time trying the balms. And I mean, I keep smelling myself because I can actually smell it.
Yeah, I was because we may be working on more, but I was smelling, I had them on my like forearms, like testing them. And it was literally like end of the day, I was like, what is that lovely smell? It was myself.
Right.
But like I forgot
like,
that I had
I
them
will
on.
wear this, go buy the perfume. But honestly, I feel like just alone. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I could slather this all over
But also
my
I keep
body.
touching it.
I
And
know.
it feels so good.
It's so
This should be
nice.
like a body balm with no fragrance for the people that want to put it all over their body.
Like
Or
a
your
huge
face.
400 gram.
No, because look, it's literally, I mean, it mattified and
blurring.
smoothed my hand.
Yeah. But I also want to smell what it's like when you layer this on top and like create little
Woody oak, that's my jam with our
You're the Rare with
EDP.
Woody oak. I'm
That's my-
probably
that's
going to
my
be
jam.
Rare with the amber vanilla.
I think I'm blue. What's the blue?
I
The
like the
fresh
bergamot.
bergamot.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
I
I
really like the
combo too.
bergamot.
I think
Yeah.
I am a bergamot. Wow.
This is fab. Joyce, thank you so much for
You're
coming on the
you are a
podcast.
genius.
No
So-
way.
If you are watching or listening to this, you can go and read real verified reviews from our Glamgelinos about the fragrance, and you'll be able to buy the fragrance when?
August 7th.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll have to wait a week, but
We
it's
hope
coming.
you love it.
Wish
coming.
you could smell us, guys.
Yeah, I know. Smell-o-vision. We figured everything else
I know.
out.
We put a man on the moon. We
Yeah.
still can't do this.
One day.
Yeah, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joyce.
Oh,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
having
being
me.
here.
Wow, it went by so fast.
I
That was so great,
know.
guys.